Hello, everybody on the internet. This is what we're deeming as mini slab lounges, hosted by two of the three Kwamis, myself and Robert. Now, what are the mini slab lounges? Well, we're doing a couple of shakeups here and there, but while we are planning to do like topical, like political stuff, that'll be a separate bit. The mini slab lounge is basically it's topical too, but like more on the entertainment, light and fluffy side. So, for instance, I'll open things up with poor Concord. Um, for those who don't know, Concord is a hero shooter that was developed for like I think it was like close to a decade or something. Cost Sony $300 million. They bought the studio. Concord's numbers are so bad that Sony is indeed shutting it down. Now, you is this an L for Sony? Well, obviously this is an L for Sony, but it's not as big of an L as a lot of people make it out. Don't even get me started with how much Helldivers 2 has basically been carrying Sony, and with all the other stuff that they have going on in the background, software sales are still good, hardware sales are still relatively okay. Plus, um, with rumors of the Bloodborne remaster being a thing. I don't know if it's official yet, but then again, I haven't really checked. Sony's just fine, but this just goes to show you, like, have you, Robert? Have you actually seen anything on Concord after like we talked about it?
I actually did some research on it stuff on there. A couple things. First off, when you talk about the L for Sony, I would agree it's not an L for Sony per se because they just bought the studio. Like it's an L for the studio. The studio who was in charge of this was an L. Or you could look at it as a W because they fucking fleeced Sony into buying them. So in that case, the other things I kind of researched into it like you said, like it looks like basically kind of like a rip off of fuck, what was the game? Overwatch. And like honestly, I applaud the I have I have never played it personally, but I applaud the fan base for taking a stand on just like how some game studios in Hollywood are doing lately of just, hey, this worked in the past. Let's just make a cheap knockoff and hope people are stupid enough to just buy this shit and fall in line. You know?
Yeah, the one thing I am worried about for Sony in terms of because they have been pushing for live service hard. I mean, like really, really hard. I don't know how much they bankrolled Squeenix and Foam Stars, that Splatoon clone, which apparently isn't doing so well either. The only real win they got was Helldivers 2, because Helldivers 2 is it is doing well. It's ridiculously well. I haven't played it yet, but I take that back. I played it because I have it. Um, the reason why I stopped playing it wasn't because of the Sony controvert, was the PSN nonsense. I just stopped playing because I was just tired of facing the it's either bugs or droids. I've been waiting on the Illuminant, and even then, apparently that's nowhere near. So anyway, I mean, you have the failure that is Concord. The live service version of Last of Us was canceled, and then I mean, people like company entities really need to stop like just thinking live service, live service, live service. Because like the market can only go so far. You want to know how bad um it was for Concord? Let me put it to you in this way. Because I didn't even know Valve was actually developing its own hero shooter. It's called Deadlock. Deadlock recently had a closed beta, and the numbers they Valve has been kicking Sony's ass on that front. Like the concurrent players is somewhere around like it's like six figures, and that's just a closed beta, not an open. Like if it was open, I'm pretty sure that number would surge because Valve has the reputation, Valve has the games to prove it, and from what I'm hearing, Deadlock is amazing. And that's not even just the only hero shooter that's coming out soon. Um, because one hero shooter that I myself am interested in is Marvel's Rivals, and that thing's gonna be free to play. I am gonna grind the ever loving crap out of Spider-Man. Let me tell you some of the rosters they got in Marvel's Rivals, because I actually while the closed beta is still a thing, I managed to watch a stream from his name is Smitty. He actually did a stream with his group like Grizzy, Big Puffer, Elastic Droid. Anyway, and they were playing Marvel's Rivals. You had Spider-Man, Venom. You had Punisher, who is a tank for some reason. Iron Man, who isn't. The Hulk. You, dude, let me. They have Hulk in there, and he starts off as Bruce Banner with a gun, just shooting things, and then he has to morph into the Hulk. And when he does, he has all these weird casks and all that nonsense, and it's like the game looks fucking fun, like it really does. And then you compare it with something like Concord. I mean, I'm not gonna bash the gameplay because I never played it neither. But like Concord just looks so dreary and drab and completely lifeless. It just looked bad. Like I heavily suggest you look into Marvel's Rivals because it is free to play. Um, I believe it's gonna be for all consoles too. I think. Don't quote me on that though. Mm, mm.
So it's Marvel Rivals, you're grinding stuff on there. So is this like you pick a character and then you grind the levels and you unlock more abilities for that character?
Here's the thing, I don't necessarily know. When I was watching that stream, Elastic Droid was the only one that was dedicated choosing Spider-Man over and over and over and over again. Everyone else was using different characters per session. Some rounds they'd win, a lot of rounds they lost. But I don't know if you gain new abilities.
So you win, so you play stuff on there. So this is like Dota, Defense of the Ancients or whatever, where you pick a character and you grind them up, get items for them,
Well,
right?
you pick a character. Your character's part of the blue team. You take on people from the red team, and
Yeah.
it's just yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah, so it's like the Defense of the Ancients, and then like you gotta beat some checkpoints and you get powers and you unlock them by grinding up.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting because I like that. I was always a Dota fan. And
Here's
then like, oh, yeah,
yeah.
Warcraft 3.
If you look at the differences is between is like night and day. Like Marvel's Rivals, look, it's vibrant. There are only like like I want to say like two maps that I saw. One being in Asgard and the other being in like I think Spider Verse city thing. But like the, their colors, there are all types of gestures. It's still a hero shooter, so you're still gonna be shooting bad guys or shooting the enemy team. But like you compare that to Concord, and you have Concord's dreary just blah, and it didn't help matters that some of the Concord staff or some of the Concord developers look. I'm I feel bad that the developers' hard work and effort went to nothing, but like for having some of the developers try to take on the internet the way Bethesda did when Starfield's still crap, but like when they was just like the developer went on record on X. So I'm trying to get Twitter out of my head. He went on X and he said, I think he was like, I don't need to hear criticisms from a bunch of talentless losers like you. The second that developer said that, what do you think happened, Robert? Can you
Well, I already know because already, like, I wasn't even planning to play this game. It's like, let's learn about this, and I'm already incensed to be like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna go on Reddit, get a group of people, and tank this shit. Because it's like I've seen this movie before with guys like that. You know, when a guy has a horrible product, when they get super defensive about it, like when you say that. If you would just replied and been like, I know people have my criticisms, but if people just play the product, I think they'll be wrong. And then that just shows you have confidence in the work. You calling someone else talented losers when that's the person that you need to get the money from, it just reeks of, defensiveness that you deep down know you have a piece of shit. And all you have left is to say, like, ha ha, I went to Harvard or whatever, while you guys did it. Like, okay.
It really does. Look, I get why that person would be so like defensive. You know, if like a bunch of people started jumping down my throat for something like Launch the Hipster, like, but I'd never ever like just go after like one thing. The only criticisms that I cannot stand is like, oh, the video quality is crap, or oh, I don't like this thing because it sucks. Like I will not tolerate those. Those I will go after because like that's not a good.
That's a subjective pettiness. But like, if they have real problems about plot, storylines, like certain weapons or armors or gimmicks,
Mhm.
like you should take that as constructive criticism. Because I know there might have been some issues, like maybe it was out of control, like budget, time constraints. You already knew there was these pit holes already, and you just did the best you can to get it out there launch.
Yeah.
But like, you don't have to be defensive about that. Be like, yeah, I know we couldn't have enough for launch, and because it's a live service one, you can get there and you can patch it up. That's why I don't get why you're going to be so defensive about anything. If you could just put patches later, just listen to people and just be like, oh, yeah, we know about that. We're already working on this patch, you know?
Yeah, to those who actually still, there are still those who defend Concord, right? They're saying like it's a fun game to play. You're just judging it too harshly. The numbers are actually good. They're just bad on Steam. Here's the thing with that. While yes, there is crossplay between between PC users and PlayStation users. They can crossplay. The problem with that logic is Sony hasn't released as of the recording. Sony hasn't actually publicly shown the daily active users on the PlayStation Network. So all we can rely on the words are the words of the consumer that's just defending a product that Sony themselves are saying it's going to be shut down. It's not even helped by the fact that the people that are still trying to play aren't even playing the game anymore. They just spawn in and then they jump off the map and suicide. They're just trolling at this point. And you're just all like, dude, I I get it. You like the game, you like Sony, you're trying to defend it, and I appreciate it. But like the numbers are speaking for themselves. The content is speaking for themselves. You're the hill you're trying to like die on is just not worth it, man. It
I
really
mean,
isn't.
I just think, like, because you said numbers stuff in there, like, me personally, I just don't really like when this route of people trying to just do only live service games because it's like, I like games where it's like I could do a solo story mode, get good if I just want to play for myself, and then I can also go online.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like maybe going back to like Destiny that was on on the Xbox that I really hated because not only was it like online play against each other, they also made it so it's like, hey, if you have no friends, you can't do these other raids to get better items that you need in this PvP game. It was like a double attack at me, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Like. Do I think live service can work if done properly? Yes. And for the record, I'll stand behind these comments. When Destiny first came out, right? Um, they did a good job. They did it. They were like, okay, here's what we have. Here's the content roadmap. The only thing that sucked about it was Activision Blizzard at the time because they made sure that not only was the middle expansions of Destiny a slog, Destiny 2 was full of it. And and Bungie really couldn't do much because the deal like they had to please it was the deal like it was in their it was in the contract. I mean they were legally obligated to do what Activision Blizzard wanted them to do. And you know, when the contract ended and they got Destiny back, yeah, they celebrated and they were like, okay, we can get things back on track. Unfortunately, you know, Sony bought them out, but and from the looks of it, from what I've been reading, they've been gutting Bungie badly. But I don't know. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is, if you live service can work if you did it properly. A good example of that, and I know it's not necessarily an apples to apples comparison. Look at World of Warcraft, right? when World of Warcraft first started, like you had to go through the slog, get X amount of get 10 skulls of random enemies or whatever, whatever. But it was, I think it was Lich King that they
So,
said what?
no, okay, so it was first the original one, level 1 to 60, and then they had the Burning Crusade, with the first expansion afterwards, and that was with Illidan the Demon Hunter, and it was the Wrath of the Lich King was the second expansion.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was then when they said they'd stop doing get 10 skulls of enemy. So we'd actually just vary the quests and still have a storyline for you to follow. Um, I, I think it was Wrath of the Lich King that they said they stopped doing that. And to its credit, Blizzard did exactly that. I don't know if they're still. I don't think they're still doing that. That whole um, kill X amount
Honestly, I stopped playing after Wrath of the Lich King, so
I
I
look.
wouldn't know either.
Hey, I stopped. Hey, I started it and stopped during Burning Crusade, and like there's still that crowd that says the Burning Crusade days were like the heyday of WoW, as opposed to like whatever it is now.
Well, the
Um,
Burning Crusade. Okay, so when it first came out, it was great. Well, it was weird and great because they had the 40-man raids. Molten Core.
mhm,
You really have to be in a big guild to
mhm,
get in there, and then people kind of complain because it's like controlling 40 people or trying to get 40 people your friends because you had a lot of antisocial people
mhm,
who were like playing with their friends, and it can get like 5 people to do the instances.
yeah,
They couldn't get 40 people to do a raid. So you would actually have to go out and find people. And then they changed it with the first expansion where we're only doing 20 man
mhm,
and everything. So like I could get why people say it was a heyday back then because like the grind from 1 to 60 was hard,
yeah. Oh
especially the
yeah.
last couple levels.
Oh
But
God.
then but then you have the rise of the bot farmers in that industry. I know I used that for a couple of accounts when I was busy with school. I'm just like, yeah, I want to try this new character class, but I don't want to go back to the grind for the first couple of episodes. So like, I'm just gonna pay this guy $50 to grind me to 60 and give me a certain amount of gold.
That makes yeah, yeah. I remember those days too. But like that's World of Warcraft, perfect example of live service. In fact, they
Live
charge you for
service.
the thing. Yeah.
Hey, would you count Counter Strike as live service or no?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
well, yes and no. Yes, because like yes, you have to actually pay for stuff, but no, because Counter Strike is that game's mad competitive. Like
Okay,
that's
because I was about to say, because like that's a good example, and I would really like it if they brought back, or since of rebooting shit, reboot 1.5, like just 1.5 as it is, better graphics. Don't change anything. There's better graphics, 1.5.
Hey man, like you're not the only for the record, people. CS 1.5, that was like the update back in the day. I mean back in the day. It was better than Counter-Strike Source. And that's saying something. It was better than Counter-Strike Source, better than Counter-Strike 2. And because 1.5, it had like everything. You had vehicles, you had like a ton of different guns. You actually had if you couldn't go online, you actually had AI support. Like the whole kit and caboodle was ridiculous. We'd have LAN parties. There was uh,
LAN parties, the tournaments for Counter Strike, the domination of Team 3D from Sweden,
hmm
people making music videos to Headshot, Take Me On, Headstrong, can't tell
yeah,
anyone. I was in a guild. It was great, man. Playing against each other. Yeah, the LAN parties. You used to go to this place called the Matrix. It was you go there, we pay $15. We got all day access. So we there at 10 o'clock all day. Same parking lot at Jack in the Box, walk get some ultimate cheeseburgers, bring it back. Got the Plantronics on. Oh man.
the
I
thing
wish I
is,
could go back. If I had a DeLorean, I would go back to that period in that period alone. I'm not gonna change anything. I might give myself a lottery so I can keep 1.5 alive because I will be like, you guys, they're gonna take 1.5 and go to source. They're fools. Maybe I would come up with a baby of cross baby of GoldenEye and 1.5. That'll be like my next project, you know?
yeah. Um, God, yeah. Me personally, I'd rather go back to the GameCube PS2 era because Those
GameCube, Mario Sunshine,
hmm
first Pikmin,
hmm
PS2 was bombing. Yeah, okay, I can fuck with that era too.
Yeah. For the record, people, another another good example of live service is Helldivers 2, because they give you all the content. You could pay to get more like get all of the content, the premium currency and stuff like that. And how the missions break down is, oh yeah, you're supposed to, just complete one objective, or you could complete all of the side objectives. Some people have taken the whole like going the super hard route like super seriously as like some form of a challenge. And and to their credit, they they get through it. I mean, I'm not gonna do it because no. But yes, that's another example of a good live service game. A lot of companies these days think live service as okay, we can have some narrative or like barring suicides. Actually, I'll talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League a little bit. But most companies these days view live service as, oh, we can just get around with multiplayer, and then that's it. Oh, we just have to release episodic content because that's what Concord's roadmap literally looked like. They were going to release it because they wanted to be a hybrid of TV and game, and the game was going to be nothing more than multiplayer. The problem is, Overwatch already does that, and while Overwatch 2 was promising story-based stuff and canceling that right off the like in the middle of everything, which got fans in an uproar. At the end of the day, the fans still chose Overwatch 2 because it's familiar. Um, and again, Concord just looked dreary, drab, blah. Um, and again, many companies just think of it as multiplayer with some story elements. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. That's on a different take because Rocksteady they did not want to do that. Warner Discovery forced them, basically said no, do it, and the rest is history. Supposedly, I guess this actually can tie in to with what's going on with Concord because it's shut down. Or rather, yeah, the Warner Discovery, um, they're actually thinking of selling off its entire games division. So NetherRealm Studios, Rocksteady, any studio that's under their belt might be sold off, and they're citing the Suicide Squad game as its main thing. Ed Boon, I think Ed Boon was very vocal about like, yeah, no, don't do that. But at the same time, it's just it just goes to show how ignorant these companies are when because you can't just say live service is the way to go. I mean, no, I take that back. Let me rephrase this. If you say live service is the way to go, use a studio that actually knows what they're doing. Bungie for was the ones that laid out the plan for a live service game done right. Helldivers 2 also did it right because they basically followed along the same plan. Warner Discovery didn't. And for them to basically point the finger at Suicide Squad killed the Justice League as the main reason to sell off the games division is a real nut slap, especially considering how it's turning your back against like not just NetherRealm Studios, the studio behind Hogwarts Legacy. I mean, I don't like Hogwarts Legacy. I don't care for it, but like I feel for the artists and programmers that work to do that because that game looked gorgeous. I'll say it, and it performed really really well. But like to do that kind of a game takes time and effort, especially when you're doing narrative-based stuff, which is something that a lot of game companies don't like doing anymore these days. Mainly because um, they like multiplayer because multiplayer is low effort, low budget, and yields the highest rewards. You know what I mean? Mm.
I would say a couple things. For the Hogwarts Legacy one, I agree. It looked gorgeous. I didn't play it, but I would say to your point where studios don't want to do the effort to do the details or whatever. I think the people behind Hogwarts Legacy they had the advantage of we have this huge franchise. You have a built-in fan base,
Mm-hmm.
but they also knew like these people know their shit. Like these people that spend all day doing these quizzes, getting hooked on the shit, rereading this stuff. So they had to like nail the lore, nail the little details because they knew people will be up in their arms in business and stuff on there. So that was the advantage of like, hey, but if we're gonna do this, we got to do this right because we already know these people are gonna be here.
Mm-hmm.
While the other studios, like you say, we just want to do these multi version stuff on their live service because it's cheap. We can get it out early because any bugs or whatever, we'll just put in a patch. It's
Yeah.
just like the Concord people didn't think like, they all thought, well, we'll have this huge number at the beginning from the hype. And yes, it'll drop down. But by the time it drops down to a settled number, we will have a new patch on there. We'll keep it and then we'll just do some advertisement or throw a little thing in there and boost back up the numbers, right?
Yeah.
They weren't expecting it to be that low so quick before they could fix anything.
Yeah.
And they kind of got fucked.
Mm-hmm.
And then my second point was to where you say Warner Brothers Discovery, they've been fucking up a lot.
Yeah.
And like part of it is definitely because they had two companies that merged that were already in the red. So now they're like super in the red. If you think about DBZ, they went Super Saiyan in the red or Super Saiyan God. And now, like just like how they screwed up with TNT and the basketball NBA against the Amazon, and what did they do? Because they were like, "We have the right to match." Yeah, you had the right beforehand, and you drag your feet, and you thought, you know what? We need to get out of this red, so we're not going to do anything. And then the backlash came, and they weren't ready for that. And what they did, they started pointing fingers and saying like, "Oh, well, we put this matching offer in like a couple days after the deadline, but they should honor it, and we're gonna make this stink on there, and then we're also gonna set aside and not show the Batgirl film we have because we'll save more money off of that." And that's the same thing they did with them selling off the Suicide Squad versus the Defeats the Justice League. They're not slick. They're basically trying to sell off all assets to try to get all their money back because they're in the red. And they're messing up because they're selling off the stuff that, yes, will make the most money, but what is also their best stuff. They should just ride with their best stuff and grow out their fan base, and they're gonna be fine no matter what. These big companies, they're almost like too big to fail. Even on the Reddit stuff on there, they can sell off other stuff. They can get extensions. They can write it off. They'll be fine. So they should just show off their good stuff and sell off and can their really bad stuff, even if they take a loss for the bad stuff. Just get it off their books and
Well, I
ride
was
with their good stuff.
I was actually gonna
Hmm.
ask. I was actually gonna ask because I knew about the whole bid that Warner Discovery did for the NBA and NBA going Amazon. What exactly was all that about? Like, how did that all like unfold? Because like I was,
Okay,
yeah. Go ahead.
so so what happened is basically the TV rights are going to be up next year.
Hmm.
So obviously they take care of it in advance, right?
Yeah.
And what most places they have in place is that when you make these TV rights deal, the person who has it, they usually have a period where that is exclusive to them. Like the people will bring it to them. Like it's an increase, you have to pay more, but you get the rights. And we're not going to sell it out to other people. We might be talking to other people under the table, but legally we can't do anything. So you get first dibs at it, right?
Yeah.
But because Warner Discovery took over, basically has TNT Turner Sports underneath their thing, and like I said earlier, how they're in the red already, that they've been selling off a lot of their assets and stuff and canceling a lot of stuff to get out of this red. And the new CEO, like David Zasloff, I think that's his name,
Yeah. Yeah.
basically was like, because a lot of the TV deals, they are actually making a lot of money on there. They might make it off some of their shows, like Inside the NBA, which is great. But yeah, they could go off for a loss, but they also could gain more because every year the contract keep coming up, new stuff comes up. But he just thought, hey, if we don't have this on the books, we could take off a huge chunk and then they'll replace it with some other crap that's basically going to do horrible. But he'll sell it to his shareholders and his bosses that, hey, look, for these 2 years, I'm saving you X amount of money. So you're going to give me a raise. So it's just kind of greed and everything. And because they decided, they're like, we're not going to renew, Amazon came in and is like, we want this contract. Just like how came into NFL and are coming into a lot of the live sports because with streaming, live sports is like so huge, is so popular. And just like how multiplayer is easy money for game developers, having the rights to any live sporting events is easy money to whoever owns it. Because you don't gotta do anything. I didn't have the right to show it. And people are gonna flock to it because they're their favorite teams. And so Amazon bid for it and Amazon got it. And obviously Warner Discovery was going to lose out as soon as they got outside their exclusive renegotiating period because they don't have enough money to compete with Amazon. And after that was known, and Charles Barkley was going out there running his mouth talking about how it's unfair, how it's just stupid to let this lapse, and how everyone was being disappointed and backlashing against Warner Discovery because everyone loves Inside the NBA. And yes, it would normally be easy for the four anchors just to be bought out by the new company or Amazon.
Yeah.
Ernie Johnson, who everyone will agree is like the soul and heart and keeps the group together of Inside the NBA, has an exclusive contract with Turner Sports and lives in Atlanta. And he was never going to leave them because when he had a lot of medical issues with himself and his family, they did right by him. So he was never going to leave. And that's one of his endearing qualities that people like about him. And if he did leave, that will be a mar on him.
Yeah.
And so huge backlash. And Warner Discovery started to realize, like, oh my God, this is looking bad for us. So then they started being like, no, we put in a bid to match the offer because we have matching rights. They did, but they missed the date on it. And they just wanted to save face. So they're starting to be like, we're going to look into it and lawyers, and that's never going to happen. Like, it's done.
Wait. So let me get this straight. So does that mean like TNT won't be able to show any NBA games, or will they still be able to show it, but like after the fact? Or is it like how's this all gonna work? Like is
So next year, TNT, that's be the last year TNT's playing games because like they're negotiating for the contract for the 2025 season. So this last season, it'll still be on TNT. They still have some Christmas game, All-Star games, everything. After that, it won't be played on TNT anymore. It'll be played on ESPN. So that'll be on ESPN, ABC. Uh, the other one will be Peacock or NBC.
yeah.
They also took out the thing on there, so they'll have games on there, and then Amazon, so it'll be on Prime.
So
TNT won't be on there at all. I mean, TNT could make a sports show and show highlights, but for that, they will have to pay one of the other people
yeah.
the rights to show that.
So
And yeah,
well, let me ask this because you also mentioned that Amazon made a bid for the NFL. So
well, they
yes,
they have it, but they made a bid, but they have the NFL. They have Thursday games already. They had it since last year.
yeah, I was gonna ask. Wait, so what about ESPN? I mean, they are the sports network.
ESPN still has Monday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, ESPN, because ESPN is still like Disney still doesn't know if they want to sell ESPN or not because Disney is they own ESPN and their numbers are kind of in the red too. But so they always been floating the idea of possibly selling ESPN, and a lot of rumors are saying that Apple might buy ESPN
Whoa,
to
whoa,
compete with
whoa!
Amazon.
What?
Yeah, well,
That
because
that would be huge. That would be fucking huge. Because Apple TV is still like Apple TV is nowhere near. Well, no, I can't say that. Because like the tier list still goes. Netflix is still king, or rather, it's
they have
still
a huge net share. They have a huge net share because
yeah,
they
yeah.
started it, and yeah,
It's still a toss up between Netflix and Disney because they are the main two. And to say one is the top, one is S tier and the other isn't. That's not that ain't fair. After that is like Max. It's still Max. And then from there, like Apple TV is like I want to say below Max because there are other streaming services, but like Apple TV is still like they like Apple TV lost a lot of numbers when Jon Stewart left. With there's a problem with Jon Stewart. Like with the with Jon Stewart's first season, like it was rocky, but it was still there. And then season two happened, and it was great. And then I forget why. Like I know there was some drama, but like it was mainly because Jon Stewart wanted to do something. Apple TV said no. He did it anyway, and then fucked off. Like something like that. I'm trying to remember what it was, but anyway, like Apple TV lost a lot of numbers because Jon Stewart left and went back to the Daily Show. But like Apple TV is still huge. If they get ESPN, holy shit! Like that would be huge. That would give them a huge boost, especially in that particular community, in that
well,
particular.
that's why they want to do it. Well, because ESPN is losing money for Disney and stuff on there. Because you look at like lately, they've been firing a lot of on their talents. They've been like casting some of the shows, and then they've been forcing like Stephen A. Smith and Mike Greenberg or Greeny to be hosts of all these multiple shows, but they're also paying them like a shit ton of money. Like also Pat McAfee because they were trying to get his streaming show over and stuff on there. So it would be great for Disney, who's losing money through ESPN, to buy this. And that's why the people putting either Apple or Amazon, who has enough money to be able to purchase ESPN from Disney, but people are putting Apple because like you said, Apple TV. Apple also has the MLS. So if they got ESPN, ESPN has college football like the
Yeah,
SEC network and then
yeah,
ACC, and so they'll get that. They got some hockey slideshow, and they'll also get some basketball rights.
right.
So that'll be a huge thing for Apple, and Apple has the money to do it.
Yes, they do.
It
Yes, they
it's
do.
just it's just that I think they're also afraid though that s- Congress might come up with antitrust for the merger though.
Well, that makes sense too because here's that whole saying that will own everything. That's nowhere near true. I am going to debunk this because barring Microsoft's buyout of Activision and Bethesda, ZeniMax, the owners of Bethesda, Apple TV, Apple is actually number I want to say number two or number three in terms of the world's richest corporations. Number one is still Walmart. But Apple is up there. It's either
Apple's
number
up
two,
there. I
number
think
three.
it might be three. I think it might be three or four, and then surprisingly, Samsung's ahead of Apple once a lot.
I'll take your word for it because I'm not gonna open up a new tab and look it up. But like, um, so if the government comes down saying like, antitrust, 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 because like, think about it, like, Windows. Microsoft is still fighting the courts over the Activision.
Activision,
Yeah,
Blizzard,
Activision.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
because
of
they
that
had to
merger stuff on
like
there.
one of the ways they wanted to appease lawmakers is they literally disbanded the esports league for Activision itself. Like they just killed it. They killed it to try and appease it, and that still wasn't enough. So there's that. I mean, it's. Uh, I mean, I don't think Disney should sell ESPN because okay, I wasn't gonna bring this up in the mini slab launch, but we're here now, so fuck it. Um, because there is a very small rumor, and I hate to bring this up because of the sources of ammunition they got. There is a rumor that Disney's gonna kill The Simpsons. The
Good.
sources of, I mean, it would be courageous. I think The Simpsons should end, despite the
I think it
renaissance
should
that they.
end. Like it's
Just hear,
too long.
just
Like
just hear me out. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Like, is The Simpsons good again? I mean, I've watched a bunch of the episodes. I think it's good again. It would be truly courageous if they killed it off because it has gone on way too long. But at the same time, like the sources of ammunition that a lot of people have is this: some of the Simpsons episodes are supposed to be airing exclusively on Disney Plus, not on Fox, just exclusively on Disney Plus. And that's saying something because Nickelodeon pulled something similar on this with Avatar: Legend of Korra season 4, with especially with the series finale when Kuvira and Korra like duked it out. So that's what people are afraid of. Do I think that they're going to end it? No, I think they're just testing the waters to see how many more people will go on Disney Plus for these exclusive episodes. Do I want The Simpsons to end? Ideally, like, I will be that guy that just says no because The Simpsons just became good again. The only reason why I can't necessarily watch it for time to time is because the voice actors are just so goddamn old. But at the same time, I still do think that The Simpsons should end because it has gone on too long. I mean, look how but them's the breaks on that front. In fact, no, the last thing I'll end with that particular portion is that with the last season, it has been kind of divisive. Um, because it has been kind of divisive. Not as divisive as the Hulu Futurama revival, because that is hugely divisive. Uh, but you know, at the end of the day, a lot of people are still up in arms about like, oh, I don't know if we should if the Simpsons is good. I still think it's good. I still think I think it has become good again, mainly because uh, um, the writers were able to just go do whatever the fuck they want again. Um, but at the same time, the voice actors, they're super fucking old. If Disney gets rid of The Simpsons, will I mourn the loss? Of course. But will I say it was necessary? Of course. So that would be truly courageous if they did that. Will I do I think they'll do that? No. I just think they're testing the waters to see how many people will flock to Disney Plus for those exclusive episodes. It will only be a matter of time before like if they're happy with the numbers, I would not be surprised if they're just saying like no, Simpsons is going to be Disney Plus exclusive. There'll be a backlash, but eventually, people will just flock to it. Like that's just my 2 cents on the matter. Go ahead, Robert. I didn't mean to like interrupt, but like it's that like I just do not think they're going to end The Simpsons. I just don't think they're going to do it. Like The Simpsons is they have faced down so many rivals. And yes, I'm a fanboy. Like I am a fanboy. I grew up with The Simpsons. It occupies that special place in my heart. And I will take that. And so I will say you should take my words with a huge grain of salt because that Legend of Zelda, Dragon Ball, and like I want to say like Reading Rainbow, Magic School Bus, etc. They occupy that special place in my heart where I'm just gonna be that biased and I will not like just I won't like I'll still keep rooting for it even if it's the end of the world. You know what I mean? So Robert, again, I'm sorry I interrupted. Go for it, man.
I agree. It's been on too long. Like I think I stopped watching around like season 26 or 27. Um, I mean, they could cancel it. And then they could do a thing where they reboot it later on. Kind of like Disney in the old time where get it, it's going into the vault. Like bullshit, it's going into the vault. You just want to wait. He's like, we're going to Disney remaster it. But I would say if they're doing that Disney exclusive thing on there, they could, maybe take some episodes off. Like maybe be like, okay, we're gonna do a Halloween special, Thanksgiving special, Christmas special. Maybe we're just gonna do movies and we'll just release a movie every 3 months for a Simpsons little short movie. Like maybe they don't have to do 20 or plus episodes each season going forward, and then they can really stick to writing and doing it better if they're going to only do like on Disney Plus exclusive.
Yeah,
Like and that way, like because it's like, oh, you've been on for over 30 plus seasons. So it's just like, you know, maybe you try to, slow it down, make it more special, make people want to wait for like drops of it instead of be like, oh, I guess it's on again.
yeah. Let me put it to you this way. Even though the episode was okay, like I didn't have it wasn't as good as the OG, but like it didn't rub me the wrong way. Um, One of the things Simpsons did in the later seasons, they redid those bastards. They redid Krusty's Clown College. They had another episode where Krusty opened up a clown college. The first time that Krusty opened up a clown college, it kind of made sense. Mainly, and the reason why I'm saying that is because like I used to be like I was a huge Simpsons fan. I don't know if you knew this uh, this piece of Simpsons trivia. Originally, Homer Simpson in The Simpsons, right? He would be, nuclear technician, safety, da, 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 da. But by night, he would actually dress up as Krusty the Clown in order to like appeal to Bart, which is why Bart loves Krusty, and which is why Krusty and Homer have such a similar build. Um, they end up scrapping that entire like storyline, or rather that entire thing. They paid homage slash gave a nod to it when Homer went to clown college and was a Krusty the Clown impersonator. But now, 30 years later, they had another episode where Krusty opens up a clown college. Was it funny? Yes. Was it better than the original? No. But like the because this wasn't the first time like the Simpsons pissed off the fan base. The '90s show. I mean, oh my God, when they retconned when Homer and Marge met during the '90s as opposed to when the canon timeline ended. But then again, everyone like I don't want to say true Simpsons fans, but like Simpsons fans know that Simpsons plays fast and loose with its canon. One of the things I still object to was the fact that Marge wasn't a cop anymore, even though that was like one of the best episodes, not just for Marge, but for the series as a whole, because that episode was hilarious.
No, it was hilarious. Like, women, they just can't find the door
Yeah.
to the wall.
Or counterfeit jeans. Oh my God. And they didn't shy
Yes.
away. And they didn't shy away from like what a cop's job is. Yes, like, while she was a cop, all of her like friends at the beauty parlor alienated her because they just didn't want to talk to her because she was a cop. And then there was that like first person scene when Herman captured Homer in the treehouse. She's taking out her gun. It's in first person, and then she has to like, be careful because she didn't like the only thing she actually shot was Flanders's Halloween decoration, but you could tell she was like on edge when Melhouse shows up out of nowhere, and then Grandpa Abe Simpson shows out of nowhere with Maggie in the stroller. Like they showed it. They tried to be as um, even-handed with the politics as they could be, and to say that that wasn't canon really was just a smack in the nuts. It really was, because that was a huge thing for Marge. Ugh, that was
But you
that.
know, it's weird because yeah, I think they took it out. Let's took it out earlier because that was an earlier episode, and then like a later season episode when Marge got mugged and saw outside the Quickie Mart, and a guy took her pearls, and then she was too afraid to go outside, so she started weightlifting down in the basement.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, because that was canon too. Like that.
But that's weird because like if the police thing on there, she should have been used to that and not have that trauma, right?
Yeah, no, because like the episode literally opened up with Homer getting mugged, she and Marge chasing after Snake, and then Snake takes out a knife, and even though she was like regular Marge like build, she still took down Snake by slapping him in the face with a garbage can lid. And then she started like doing more and more physical activities, and then she was like, "Yeah, I'm into this." And then she went for the police training, and she did all that police training, and she did with it, and she arrested Homer, rightfully so, because he was being
Yeah,
a dick.
triple parking lot of a handicap, three
Hmm.
spots
To
in front
say
of a
that
garbage.
to say that episode wasn't canon is such a slap in the face of Marge's character. It really was. It really was.
Yeah, because it's like it's weird because they always end up bringing back. You know what's weird? They always keep bringing back the fact that Homer was an astronaut.
Yeah. Well, that. Okay, so with that, that's kind of a wishy-washy slope because supposedly after that episode aired, uh, the International Space Station wanted that episode, and you can watch it if you're on the International Space Station. Homer goes into space. You can still watch that episode. You can still watch that episode. So, I mean, it
It's
was.
great. The ants talking. Present the queen. Who's the queen? I'm the queen. No, you're
Yeah.
not.
I mean, I. Yeah, that episode I could agree with as not being canon anymore. But at the same time, when like NASA and shit was all like, we want to watch that on the International Space Station. I mean, you gotta give them credit where credit is due, man. Like that it's like when uh he who should not be named told me about like when Simpsons made fun of Death Note. The anime studio that actually did Death Note made that parody, like that homage was just that's just that's awesome. That
I think
on
that's the great thing about The Simpsons that it became so big that they can get basically any guest celebrity they want,
hmm
which is great. But yeah, sometimes it was hit or miss episode stuff.
hmm hmm I mean, again, people, I say this wholeheartedly. I think The Simpsons is good again. If if Disney cans it, it would be courageous. It would honestly be courageous but that would fill that hole that it would have in pop culture as a whole. I don't think it would ever be filled again. But like that's just that. But that's just my biased opinion. Will they get rid of it?
No,
Probably
I
not.
agree.
Yeah, will they get rid of it? Probably not. I.
No,
Mm-mm.
I don't think so. Like honestly, even if all the original voice actor dies, they'll just find people who could do the voices
They already
and keep it
did. I
going.
mean, they already did. The voice actor for Martin, she died, and they replaced
Yeah,
her. When
voice actor for Lisa died.
there was a musical number that Marge did. She was too old to do the voice. She was too old to do the voice. They hired another voice actor to fill in. Look, eventually they're going to like just replace the voice actors. They're going to do that. because The Simpsons is just that much of a staple. I mean, don't get me wrong, the fact that they retired like some of the like my favorite character, Lionel Hutz, fucking Troy McClure, fucking
Is
Edna
Gil still
Krabappel,
there?
huh?
Is Gil still there?
Gil's still there yet?
Okay, cool. He was awesome.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
one more win for Gil.
they already did it with Edna Krabappel, Martin, and like it's gonna happen. It's going to happen. But like it's
They should get rid of Millhouse.
no, Milhouse is actually a pretty decent character, and he does well. Granted, like he gets Lisa in the end, which is actually good because he always gets a short end of the stick. Um, but yeah, like I think they're testing the waters to try to get people more and more people to Disney Plus. To try to get more people to sign up to Disney Plus.
Why did they
And
get rid of the black guy Lewis?
hmm?
You
Lewis.
know that black kid Lewis?
Oh, it's not just him they got rid of. Like Nelson Muntz's two cronies they got rid of. And they actually explain that later on because they went to Shelbyville Elementary. Mm,
Mm.
mm. Look, they're just I think they're testing the waters because if they can get The Simpsons to appear exclusively on Disney Plus, do you have any like that would be a huge boost in their numbers. I don't think they're. I really don't think they want to cancel it. I genuinely think they want to test the waters to see how many more people will sign up for Disney Plus just to see those two episodes of The Simpsons exclusively on Disney Plus. Because eventually, if they move the entire series, then they will see a huge boost in their subscriber count. Now, you should take this with a huge grain of salt because I am a die-hard Simpsons fan. I mean, I want them to end. As well as I don't want them to end because they grew up. I grew up with them, so take from that what you will. But at the same time, it's the to me it's the only move that makes sense. But at the same time, you shouldn't take my word for it because you know I'm a fanboy. It's just so take from that what you will. I know it sounds bad. Well, I know it sounds like I should not be trusted, but them's the ropes. Mm, mm. Still though, oh my God, we're here, aren't we? The streaming wars, and people still say that analog TV is dying. It is not. It cannot. It cannot die. How else can the government actually give you any form of messages? Look, I said this on the Slab launch, and I still stand by this. Analog TV is not going in. Okay, like let's get that out of our systems. Do not think like oh Paramount, oh Warner Brothers. Of course, that's not. You shouldn't. No, it. There are more places that are cable ready than they are internet ready because a lot of internet providers will not go to those spots, mainly because they're too rural and it costs more money than actually like can make them. That's just the thing. Google tried with fiber internet, fucking Cox tried, and they're just not gonna do it. So TV is just still here to stay. So calm down with that, people. In either
It
case,
makes you.
go
It
ahead.
kind of makes you think if Edison didn't screw over Tesla and we used Tesla's idea and he had to open air wide out air currents, electric air currents on there, we could do internet through there. You know, we just have like
Stupid. That's
we're
stupid.
blaming it all on Edison. Edison fucked us all over.
Dude,
Fuck
like,
Edison.
dude, look, test. I mean, like, that fucking. That's not gonna work. Tesla only got lucky with with bringing those space people home, mainly because Boeing fucked up.
No, 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 not Tesla's current. Nikola Tesla.
Mm.
No, no, not Elon Musk Tesla. No, no. No, 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 no,
No, no,
no,
no,
no.
no.
Not the guy who the guy who everyone claims is a genius, who basically just buys other people's smart ideas, claims it his own, who basically ruined Twitter/X, somehow is fighting the whole country of Brazil, and somehow is being the leader and turned to for sending a SpaceX capsule because Boeing is so incompetent that we already saved their asses 10 times in the last 20 years.
Oh my god. That whole X thing is gonna be chopped up into a separate video. Like as well as this. Because like oh my god. Oh my god. Did you hear about what happened with Truth Social? And I
No.
might just extend this call. Like I literally might just extend this call. Unless you're like, no, we should like end it now.
Probably should end it now, do it tomorrow.
Okay, then we'll do it tomorrow. Like, oh,
And then I should do some more research, send me the stuff so I can talk about it. Or I'll look it up.
oh,
I'll look stuff up. But we'll
dude.
have it for tomorrow.
Oh my god.
And see, that's a good
Yeah.
cliffhanger
It's
right here. Leave it off the oh
really
my god.
bad. It's really fucking bad. Okay, so
And you
here's what
guys can hear it tomorrow.
here's what we'll do, people. Apart from the X stuff, everything that we've talked about will air tomorrow. Um, and then what will happen is tomorrow we will have a discussion about it. We will talk about what happened with X because oh my god, or rather not X, Truth Social, because it is what the when I read that in my Google News feed, I was just like, So that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you like we will do more of these entertainment news cycles, like entertainment news cycles. As far as the political side of things is concerned, the I won't say the series title yet. Even though I like the series title, I still want to like review it because you know some of the Kwamis still need to actually like just say like you know what, no, Doug, I don't like that series title. Here is a better series title because we all yeah and yeah. So how often will these how often will these videos like just show up? Hold on, let me try to English again. We will do our very level best to try to make these episodes because this since the Slab Lounge is once every 2 weeks, we will try to make these mini episodes like as many days of the week as we can. One at least once. Like if this like for instance, this will be once a week. If the political one like we will try to make it once a week at the very least once a week, twice a week, and we will like because we're still working along. We're still like trying to like oh, Jesus, what the fuck is the word? What am I trying to we're still we're still I can't even English anymore. We're still trying to make this work, mainly because how do I put this? Oh, fuck. God damn it, Robert, can you help me on this?
We're just trying to make it work. We're trying to do some pivots, just trying to do some good ideas to kind of grow out the fan base. And, we'll still have our kind of loose, off hinge, kind of regular slab lounge. But these mini ones are going to try to be more focused and topical minded. How we start off with Concord and, corrupt and failures with some gaming companies, we just kind of pivot to X and other companies that fail. So yeah, let's bear with us and like and subscribe.
Thank you, Ro.